And what do you think about putting that in the show today?
Absolutely. I really like that. How did you come up with that?
I was just thinking about what's the best way to serve the guys today on the MD and Chef Team show.
Yeah, and I was thinking, what about adding something like this to one of the pillars, just to empower,
Beautiful.
to equip them?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, and may I say, speaking of beautiful, you look exceptionally gorgeous today, my dear.
Thank you, Bev.
Oh my gosh, I just noticed. I think it's time for the MD and Chef Team show.
Yay! Let's go! Hello, everyone.
Hello and welcome to the MD and Chef Team show. We're so glad you're here today. I'm culinary nutrition expert Chef Michael at Doctoronamission, joined as always by my beautiful wife, Dr. Isabel. You are a doctor at Doctoronamission. How are you, my dear?
Fantastic. How are you doing, honey?
Yes, I haven't seen you for almost
2 seconds.
Glad you're here as always. And today, do you have anything you want to share with everyone out there today?
Absolutely. Michael and I have you here with us, and we thank you for being here with us. And we want to help you become wealthy. Now, I know the current definition of being wealthy is financial, but this is a deeper level. It's a Middle English definition of wealthy. And wealthy in the Middle English definition was for you to have well-being. Well-being emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And that's what we're all here to do on the MD and Chef Team show. Now, from the latest, most up-to-date science, and from my personal experience and Michael, we have come to understand that we don't have a mental illness problem. Rather, we've got a brain health issue. And I'll kind of explain that a little bit more. Mental illness is like the bottom of the hill, of the mountain. You know, we don't just get there. Stuff happens upstream to get us there. And so what Michael and I do is we help you work upstream so that you don't have the downstream event of anxiety, depression, not being able to reverse back from the PTSD. So we work upstream and we work with brain health and all the contributors that affect our brain health. And once we learn how to support our brain health positively, then we know how to stay away from the downstream event, which is anxiety and depression. And that has been a long journey, you know? So that's what we're here to do.
Well, when you were saying that also about all the downstream events of brain health, it's also got to do with all the other chronic diseases in our body that happen because it's, as we know, the brain controls everything.
Yep.
So poor brain health has actually got a lot to do with strokes, diabetes,
heart attacks,
cognitive decline, dementia, Alzheimer's,
all
those
yeah,
different things.
absolutely.
You know, if the brain health isn't on, well, those downstream events can happen. Hey, so how are we going to serve the guys today?
Well, the thing I'd like to talk about with Michael, of course, because, you know, we do this together, is the topic is how lack of sleep affects our brain health. Part 1. Yes, there's a part 2.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be focusing on today, okay?
How sleep affects our brain health. And, you know, when you were preparing for this and we were talking about this, what it made me think about is myself, I know, before some different lives, is probably the same thought that a lot of society has, is that I always thought, well, sleep, I mean, who cares? You know, I always heard that, you know, well, you can sleep when you die, you know, but right now you got to grind, you got to go, who cares? You know, get 2, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours of sleep a night. It doesn't matter. You got to go.
It does matter.
And just, you know, it's just that attitude, go. But then as we started to understand, and you yourself, what you went through with the lack of sleep, and then all the clients that we work with, and we see what's happened to them, downstream effects with their lack of sleep and poor sleep, we whoa. And then you do the research and you realize, oh my gosh, this is such an important topic. I mean, wow.
I know.
You unravel it and see how sleep affects brain health. So I am thrilled that you're going to dive into this pillar of sleep today to really
Good,
make a
because
difference.
we've become experts in this area.
Yeah. We had to.
So we'll start with my story. So in 2013, I had been a medical doctor since 1991. And I just said to Michael, babe, I am really fed up practicing regular medicine because people aren't getting better. And so in 2013, we decided to stop private practice and go online and teach people how to prevent and reverse disease and give them hope in the process. That was the whole vision of where we were going. And we started Doctoronamission together. Now, a year later, it was 2014, and things weren't going as fast as I wanted it to happen. And I'm a mother now, a wife, a doctor, and a brand new entrepreneur doing this social media thing, and I'd never learned how to do it.
In your 50s.
In my 50s.
Yes.
And I came to the realization that I was just being overwhelmed, and I just started getting super anxious. And when I get anxious, I don't sleep. And so what happened was I only slept 2 to 3 hours every night for 17 nights. 2 to 3 hours every night for 17 nights. By the end of that time, I tried to take my life twice in 3 days. Me, a medical doctor. Like, what was happening? And by the grace of God, that plan was stopped. Thank you, God. And Michael took me to the doctor, and the doctor said, you're going to be on this sleeping tablet and this antidepressant for the rest of your life. And at that point, I had totally surrendered, and I was like, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do. But deep down inside, I knew that there was a better way. And so Michael and I started learning all these things about brain health. And the number one thing that we learned about was sleep. So I want to talk to you about how you and your family and your friends and everybody we know devalues sleep. Sleep can make you anxious and depressed. Lack of sleep can make you suicidal, especially if it goes on and on and on. Jenna's behind the scenes. We are nothing without our team. Jenna, can you pull up that PNG of the global problem? So this is one of the articles in Science, the global problem of insufficient sleep and its serious public health implications. I kind of want to give you an overlook of where we're going. The goal is to know that you can think clearly until your last breath, that you can actually learn how to prevent and even reverse having anxiety and depression if you're in that place right now. And one of the things that you can do is learning how to take good care of your sleep. I am not trying to overwhelm you and give you dread and gloom ideas. I just want to let you know that it's important to understand sleep is important. And then we're going to learn how to help prevent that and get it better. So one night of poor sleep, just one little stinking night.
One stinking
you know what?
Spoken from personal experience. One stinking night of poor sleep.
How many? Well, you don't have this problem, which really is unfair, but that's okay. We don't need both of us to have problems.
Yeah, that's there at times, and it's been there. Yeah.
But one night of sleep, I'm the one with the sleep issues. Poor sleep dictates how much we eat the next day. We're going to eat more carbs so that we have more energy. You'll start looking for sugar and donuts and bags of chips, and just letting you know, this is the science that's going on, and you're doing it because you want quick energy. One night of bad sleep also dictates our weight, because poor sleep decreases our metabolism. And when our metabolism decreases, we get fat. We start getting swollen around the gut. I hate that feeling.
I wasn't going to say anything about those days back then.
And it also affects how many infections we get, because our immune system is down. So we get sicker more often. It also affects our stress, how well we're able to deal with stress, whether we're popping off. And when I say pop off, like, just like, reacting. Yeah, reacting. Yeah, that's popping off. Yeah. You do that well, but you don't pop off. I'm usually the one who pops off.
Yeah, but you do see that out there in society. I mean, especially, you can talk to anybody if they've had a poor night's sleep. They are struggling to handle it the next day. I mean, the stuff of life that they would normally kind of go with the flow. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, I'm kind of aggro. I'm aggravated all the time. And that sleep thing really creates aggravation. And that's not good for society. We don't need more aggravation walking around in society these days.
No, not at all. It also affects our hippocampus. I didn't say hippopotamus, I said hippocampus. And that's in the back of your head. And that's where you organize your thinking and where memory occurs. So one bad night of sleep affects your memory. Chronic poor sleep will cause confusion, like you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. For instance, you've been doing something on the internet day in, day out, and all of a sudden you forgot what you're supposed to be doing, even though you know how to be, you've been doing it over and over and over again. It also affects memory loss, poor focus. Chronic bad sleep increases your risk of having heart attacks. Yes, I'm trying to scare you a little bit because I want you to take this seriously.
Take it seriously.
But I didn't learn about this in medical school. So even your doctor doesn't, a lot of your doctors don't know this stuff. Chronic poor sleep increases your risk of being obese. And we know that obesity is not good. It increases your risk of so many other issues. It also increases your risk of anxiety and depression. I mean, look at me. I just had 17 straight nights of poor sleep. Do you know how many people have chronic poor sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Millions throughout the world.
And you sitting in front of, over the last 30 some years, like 500,000 people to 1 million people. How many times have you talked to people that are coming in, they're sick, they're unwell, they're not feeling good, and you talk about sleep, and they all say, oh, well, I sleep maybe, I get good sleep. I sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours a night. And you're just like, wow.
Yeah, you really aren't paying attention to your sleep.
Well, that's a great thought. However, we do have to take a quick break. Now, please keep in mind, we'd love to have you join us in the Healthy Brain Club at Doctoronamission.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
This is NGBN TV, a network for men and home to top experts, speakers, authors, and more. Streaming TV for men, created by men.
But why?
Why are we a network that inspires,
educates, entertains, celebrates, and supports
men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, simply to save men's lives?
There is an epidemic in our community,
and it's taking men from us.
I'm talking about mental health and suicide.
But we have an answer, and it's streaming, live shows, sports, concerts, and more.
In a real way for men to lock shields.
We can't wait to launch this TV network for you and with you.
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 Join our movement at ngbn.tv. Coming January 2024.
Welcome back, you healthy brain enthusiasts, to the MD and Chef Team show from Doctor on a Mission. Absolutely. So many people, like you were saying, that I've been sitting in front of have just blown it off. Oh, doc, it's no big deal. Yeah. But it is a big deal. And that's what we're talking about today.
Right. Yeah.
Also, the last thing I want to talk about chronic poor sleep is it increases your risk of dementia, of the Alzheimer's type. Case in point, Michael and I have been trained by Dr. Dale Bredesen, who wrote the book, The End of Alzheimer's. If you haven't read this book will blow your mind. It blew my mind when Michael and I read it in 2018, and we've been trained by this doctor to prevent and even reverse Alzheimer's. And my first client was a 63-year-old doctor, remember,
Yes.
who had lost his medical license because he was diagnosed as having dementia of the Alzheimer's type. And he came back to us and worked with us, and we got his, one of the pillars was sleep, and we got his sleep under control.
Yeah.
And after a lot of work, 18 months later, he got his medical license back. So just so you know, don't be afraid of having dementia of the Alzheimer's type, because it is preventable and reversible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Alma, would you say, with the dozens of people we've worked with now over the last 5 years in this area, would you say at least nine out of 10 of them have a problem with sleep?
Oh, yeah. Sleep
It's
is
almost
huge.
always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's biggie.
So, Jenna, can you pull up Mr. Bean for us?
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean's having a tough time. Tough time sleeping? Well, we're going to talk about how not to have a tough time sleeping.
He is rolling and trying. And yeah.
So, there is this rhythm in our brain called the circadian rhythm, and it helps us wake up and go to sleep. And the hormone involved is melatonin.
Mhm.
Melatonin is your best friend. Now, melatonin is low when the sun is rising because you're waking up. And then melatonin is high when the sun is setting to help you sleep. So melatonin helps you sleep. That's the circadian rhythm. However, the problem is our brains never know when the sun is setting, because we've got lights and bells and whistles and cameras and action and computers and
Television, all the electronic stuff and lighting and everything going on.
all the time. And so we want to give you some tools to help you set the sun, increase your melatonin so that you sleep better, okay? So it starts 3 hours before you go to bed.
So may I say,
Yes.
I was listening to what you were saying there. So really what we're trying to do is to trick our brain
Exactly.
into sunset,
Yeah.
because now we don't actually have a brain sunset because of all the stuff that goes on. Even though the sun's gone down, there's no brain sunset. So now we got to,
You got to trick your
that's
brain.
so interesting. Yeah, the way you said that is now we got to trick our brain into actually what sunset is.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it starts 3 hours before you go to bed. So this is the blueprint for a better sleep. So 3 hours before bed, no food. I know that's a hard one, but no food, no caffeine in the form of hot chocolate, because chocolate's got caffeine in it. Black tea, like English breakfast, or, Lipton's tea, whatever kind of tea you have. And no alcohol, because alcohol affects your deep sleep so that you're not having dreams, and dreams are very important. So no alcohol, at least 3 hours before going to bed. So that's 3 hours before going to bed. And then 1 hour before going to bed, nobody likes this part, but it's okay.
It's the science.
Yeah.
It's the science of what our brain needs to be able to turn off.
Right. So 1 hour before going to bed, you want to start setting the sun in your house. And that means turning off the TV, dimming the lights, going off your phone, going off your computer, not doing any of that work. People are like, what?
Oh, I got to be looking at my cell phone until the moment I go to bed.
No, you
I'm gonna
don't.
watch TV in bed.
No, you don't, because you're stimulating the back of your brain. And another thing you want to do 1 hour before going to bed is start writing down what you need to be doing the next day. Because if not, you will wake up in the middle of the night going, oh no, I still have all these things to do. And if you do that, you can say, it's okay, brain. It's okay, self. I've written it down. So when I wake up, it'll be right there. Then also an hour before going to bed, you want to do your skincare, your teeth, shower, do whatever you need to do to get ready to get into bed. Okay. So that's 1 hour before going to bed. Everybody's like, really? I'm like, yeah, really?
Yeah, because going back to that premise, and I can't emphasize this enough, is what we need to do is we've got to trick our brain into thinking it's sunset. Otherwise, if we're not using these practices, the moment we lay down to go to sleep, well, everything's still churning up in the brain, and you're expecting it to just go, okay, nighty-night, go to sleep. It doesn't work that way. That's just physiologically the way our body works. So we have to start the practice of letting our brain, letting the melatonin come up, letting our brain understand, oh, it's sunset. I need to just wind down and go to sleep, because if we don't, then we're just going to be firing away when we actually think, oh, why can I not sleep? Why can I not sleep? Well, there's the science behind it.
Right. Good. Yeah. I like that you emphasize we got to trick our brain into falling asleep.
Yeah, because that's the society we live in now. I mean, there's so much stuff going on all over the place, and we just think, okay, well, lay your head down and go to sleep. Yeah, well, there's some things we have to do to allow that to happen.
Some things some people need to do. You apparently.
Well, no, I do these things.
Yeah, you do.
That helps
3 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have I wasn't easy in the days that I used to just kind of be grinding it out until the last moment. It wasn't as easy.
Right. You used to have poor sleep, and your sleep has improved.
Yeah.
That's why I look at you going, wow.
Well, I've worked at it.
Yeah. And then at bedtime, so now we're in bed, okay? Everybody's in bed, and you want to turn off the router. Now, babe, can you explain where the router is?
Well,
for people?
Yeah, I mean, the router's basically what we turn on. Well, hopefully you turn it off at night, but probably for most people, they've never turned it on and off. But that's, what's controls your internet in your house.
Not your refrigerator. We're not telling you to turn off the electricity.
The toaster or that, but before bed, turn off the router because of the EMF, the electronic waves. And because what we're doing is eliminating all these electrical waves going on through our house, because whether we like it or not, they do affect our brain. We don't need to turn our house into a radio tower.
And that's exactly what happens if you don't turn off the router. Yeah. All these electromagnetic frequencies are pinging through the house, and you're in the house, and they're pinging through your brain, and your brain is acting like a radio tower.
And if you're asleep, you don't need it on.
Yeah.
I mean, just, save the power.
Right.
Turn it off when you go to bed. When you get up in the morning, turn it on. We all know it just takes 1 to 2 minutes to reboot up, and away you go.
Right.
So you're saving your sleep by turning your router off when you go to bed.
Yes. Just so you know.
Now, is that easy? Well,
no.
I mean, when we had young folks like our daughters and some of their friends at the house, and we would talk about, okay, make sure you turn the router off, because they'd be up later than us before you go to bed. And it'd be like, well, I turn the router off again, But now they know, when they're home, they go, okay, yeah, we'll turn the router off. Okay, now they know. It's just we have to retrain our thought processes around sleep and what we need to be doing.
Yeah, and it takes time.
Our sleep hygiene.
This is sleep hygiene,
yeah.
And then also no TV in your bedroom and no computer in your bedroom. And if you use your phone as an alarm, then just turn it on to airplane mode. And then you can still hear your alarm. Actually, we used it this morning to get up and do this show.
Yeah.
And it's really important. You can, if you want, you can get some lavender oil and put it in a little glass bottle and spray some lavender spray on your bottle. Yes, guys. On your pillow. Yes, guys. Even you can spray a little bit of lavender spray on your pillow. And you want the room to be nice and cool. About 18 degrees Celsius or 65 Fahrenheit. And there are 3 things which you can do in the bedroom that we'll talk about when we come back.
All righty, because we're going to take a short break. I'm loving this topic today, hon. We do need to take a short break. But come on back, because after the break, we're going to have today's big take home. We'll see you soon.
Attention, gentlemen of distinction. Introducing NGBN.TV, the television network designed exclusively for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Your go-to destination for entertainment that speaks to you, inspires you, and celebrates the incredible journey of manhood. And here's the exciting news. NGBN.TV is coming to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and your favorite mobile devices. Whether you're a sports enthusiast, seeking self-improvement, or just looking for a good laugh, NGBN.TV has got you covered. Entertainment, inspiration, brotherhood. Coming soon to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and mobile devices. NGBN.TV, where men thrive.
I hope you got a healthy brain snack while you were away, because I was watching you. No, I wasn't. But I am watching you with my heart.
Yeah.
And it's now time to buckle in and continue on with the MD and Chef Team show. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back in.
Because we're going to have today's big take home.
Big take home. Yes, we're going to have the big take home. And before we go into the big take home, I just wanted to refresh everybody's memory about the 3 things we do in the bedroom. 1 is intimacy. 2 is reading something inspiring. And sleep. So those 3 things. Intimacy, reading something inspiring, not scary, not something that's going to freak you out, and sleep. And when you're sleeping, you want to sleep on your side. And the reason for that is because sleeping on your side actually helps you clean out toxins from your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sleeping on your side.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get any deeper about that. But then also, if you're going to read something, and you can get these blue blocking LED light bulbs to use, and those are a lower light. You can still read by them, but they don't stimulate the back of your eye, so that your brain gets tricked into a sunset.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that you're sleeping 7 to 8 hours every night. Yes, I said 7 to 8 hours every night.
Yes.
I know that seems like a lot to do before you go to sleep, but it's important. And
so we are going to be continuing this with a part 2 coming up on next week, because this sleep topic is so important. We really want to get this out there to you to help you to get a good night's sleep, because it's so important for all the downstream effects that can happen. But for today's big take home, I really feel the most important thing to grab out of this is to understand that where we're at in today's society, as far as what goes on around us in the home or wherever we're at, for good night's sleep, we have to think about, how do I trick my brain into knowing that it's sunset? How do I trick my brain into going, it's sunset time, and we're going to drop the melatonin's going to come up, and I'm going to learn how to sleep well.
And you want to be sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. Now, thank you for your time today. And before we go, I want to leave you with this. You were born to be a blessing. Please always remember that, okay? And remain unstoppable. Yeah.
Bye. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.